Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the attention, learning curve, situational awareness, and also the workload. Since some of you actually would like to utilize the mental workload for your final project, but I also would like to talk about attention, learning curve, and also situational awareness. Okay, so basically, when we talk about attention, okay, uh, there are three types of attention: selective attention, divided attention, and also the focused attention. Okay, for selective attention is actually you monitor several different information or several different sources, and after that one you perform one single task. Okay, so for instance in here I give you an example like a pilot. Okay, the pilot actually monitors several different indicators, and after that the pilot performs one single task. Okay, so that's actually a selective attention. You select one, you know you select, so you select the attention. So that's actually the idea. Okay, and now we are going to talk about divided attention and focused attention, since these two actually very common. Like if you watch show and so on, they always talk about the focused attention and divided attention. Okay, just like what we had the conversation before, Anna mentioned that her style, her I would to say that her studying style is actually like you know instrumental, and then when you type a paper or when you would like to do a presentation and so on. Okay, and then and she also mentioned that when she listens something music with words, she's afraid will her focus will be distracted. Okay, so that's exactly like me. For me, when I would like to buy something online, like buy ticket, buy, I don't know, Lazada, and then or in other e-commerce platforms. Usually, I always listen something with the words, the newest song and so on. But when I would like to write papers, or when I would like to, usually just write papers, because my job is writing papers, another job, okay, not just teaching, but also do research. But when I do research, I always listen to something very instrumental, okay. But I don't want it to be too sleepy, but at least usually like I will usually search on YouTube like coffee shop ambience, and with the rain, so I usually like listen to that kind of music, and I work. Is there someone who has the same? Oh, Anna, you're the same.
Yes, Doc.
Really? You know what? I always like type like coffee shop ambience rain and something like that. It like would be 1 hour. Because if I make it too quiet or like too relaxed, I will fall asleep. I will fall asleep usually like that. So, but I don't want to go to a place without a music, or it's too quiet without any music, and then um a quiet place, something like for meditation. I cannot work in that kind of like, because for me, when something is too quiet for me, I feel scared. I feel a little bit scared, just like last night. My room is so big. You know what? Like, I can show it to you. My room in the resort, so big, and then like I cannot somehow I cannot sleep. Like, oh my god, I felt insecure. It's so big, and then yeah, if it is actually too quiet, you know what? I cannot even work. Okay. So in here, everyone, it's very important. What I would like to say is like when I listen to a music like quite instrumental and with the rain and so on, I'll have a focused attention. So I will not focus on the music itself. I will just focus on the my work. Okay. But if I listen to music with words, okay, like Justin Bieber, or so on, okay, uh my focus will be divided. So I cannot work. So that's what we call divided attention. Okay. So divided attention and focused attention. So now, if you have kids at home, they have their own styles. I know, but sometimes like you have to know about divided attention and focused attention. Are you sure if they listen to the music with words, they can actually really focus and so on? So you really need to talk with your kids. Perhaps that they need to Oh, so that have focused and the divided attention. Okay, they have to know about this one. Is there someone who has the may I ask, let's say, okay, Sir John, what about you, sir? When you work, can you tell me something about divided attention and focused attention?
Yeah, actually, normally I have divided attention because I'm receiving also multiple calls from customers while I'm
Ah, I
performing.
see. I see. Your job is controlling something or monitoring something.
Uh, yeah, no, actually, my job is like more on engineering and project management. So
Mm.
we have like a team of like engineers
Mm-hmm.
who normally does the technical stuffs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
from my end, it's like okay, I need to control the scope, the hours consumed by the individuals,
Wow,
as well
that's
as to interface with the customer.
yeah. Wow, that your work is full of divided attention. Yeah, your work is actually full of divided attention. Okay, it's okay, Sir John. What about Ma'am Vicky?
Yeah. I don't know. For me personally, I cannot do. I'm not a divided person. Meaning, if I drive, I don't want music.
Ah, you like you
Yeah,
like
I
you like
don't
my
know.
sister. Yes,
Because I
yes,
would rather want to drive and talk or
yeah,
drive and
yeah.
but yeah, I don't know why. That's me. I'm still amazed with my children who study and listen to the music at the same time because I really can't
With
do that.
words or not? With
Sorry?
words, the music
I don't
with
know. I think they do words or instrumental. As long if they study, they always have the earphone with them.
ah, okay.
But for me, I cannot. I'm not used to that. I cannot really study while there is some
Even
music.
driving,
Even
even driving,
if I drive, I don't want music. I don't. I just want to drive with listening to the
the engine,
shocking engine. I don't know.
the
That's
engine.
just me. Yeah.
Okay, it's very interesting. You know, usually for us, you know, for driving, you know what, to for us to stay alert. You know, you like to listen to the music, right? I mean, is there someone who dislike to listen to the music, just like Mom Vicky while driving? Is there? Is there?
If I don't drive, I like music. But if I drive,
Okay,
because
okay,
I want my attention on the road and in Philippines.
okay, okay.
Oh, that's it. That's only.
Okay, so you're okay, okay. Yeah, usually like it will be divided attention, right? You know, you have to, you know, if you dislike the music, you can click something, you know, and then like, oh, next song, you know, like I don't like this song, and so on. Yeah. That's very interesting. Okay, but usually for me to just stay alert, okay, I would like to listen to the music while driving, okay, or at least just chatting, you know, or talking. Usually, if I drive alone, yeah, no, every time when I drive, usually I always put the music. Okay, so now when we talk about this one, okay, when you see something like this, someone would like to make it like, oh, ergo friendly, you know. Again, when a product, you know, there's a product, it's like, oh, this is ergo friendly, okay. Now, again, remember during the works, how was it, the office ergonomics, you know, there are four parts, right? It's actually the eyes, okay, the back support, the leg, and also the arm and hand, okay, in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. But if you look at this one, okay, there is no what? There is no back support, right? So that's one minus in here, no back support. But the problem in here, another one, do you know what happened? If you work and then your leg is actually like you know, keep cycling like that, what will happen? What will happen? Let's say what? Tina, do you want to try work and then you have to cycle, you know, you have to you're like that, and then you have to do focus and time or something. What will happen? Of course, yes, divided attention, you know. that is actually making a product, not just like you think like I would say, oh, this is ergo friendly, easy, we someone make to that one, but remember, ergo is not just physical, it's also about cognitive, right? When you talk about cognitive ergonomics, we talk also about attention. If you make it, yes, physical ergo, for example, yes, physical ergo is actually when you stay, just stay, it's bad for physical ergo. Yes, it's correct. With sustained posture is actually bad. Okay, that's why you would like to make someone move. Okay, but if you move, be careful with the cognitive ergonomics. The part of the cognitive. If you make add one extra task, your attention will be divided. Yeah. So that time, you know what? I tried. We tried, and then I was kind of like, oh, this is actually 2 years ago. I think like it was in more. I think during I was in Philippines already like at that time in May 2019. I think this one. Okay. Actually, I attended Ergo and Wellness. Okay, and I saw this product, and I was kind of like, yeah, when we talk about ergo, it's actually not just about the physical ergo, but or like about the but also about the cognitive ergo. And this one is actually the one that I think for cognitive ergo there will be a problem. Okay, because you force someone to work, but you also put one extra task, which is actually like a cycling. Cycling, you need to focus on that one. Okay. And then another one like this one, this chair. Do you know what happened with this chair? This chair is actually, you can circle 360 degree. Okay, and then you work with the 360 degree and keep rotating like this one. You cannot work. Come on. Okay. And this is actually the adjustable, I would say adjustable table for the laptop. Actually, I kind of like this one. Okay, but it was expensive. I think the price was 3,500. Okay, for this one. So that's why like okay, it's sobrang mahal. So I would like, okay, just next time perhaps. Okay, now I would like to talk about another one. Okay, this is actually the hierarchical process of perception. Okay, when you actually learn about it's actually the word work. Okay, let's say about this one. Okay, so I would like to mention, this is the stimulus. After the stimulus, actually, you know what? You actually analyze the feature analysis. Okay, but why you seems like you don't I don't do the feature analysis. Okay, are you sure? Then if you don't do the feature analysis, then go back. If you read abacada, the original Philippines letters, the abacada. When you see that one, you know what? You will analyze what? You will analyze the features, okay? Or if you study Chinese, or if you study Japanese, you will analyze what? You will analyze the feature. You know what? The feature of the stimulus, okay? And after that, you go to the letter analyzers, okay? After that, we go to word analyzers, and after that, we have the the perceived word that actually you see in here. But in here, actually, there is actually not just the bottom up, but it's actually also the top down process. Okay, at the beginning, when you were still a baby, okay, when you just that's why baby is kind of so, I would like to say, so fast when they learn something, for the babies, okay, because they actually analyze everything, including the features, that's why they always try to catch something and then try to identify something, okay, because they're actually kind of curious what's that one, and actually they're actually building their visual motor perception about what's that. Okay, the same with this one. But after certain years, we actually identify that one top down. We don't do it bottom up. We do it top down. Let me show you something. This one. Okay, the middle, what? The middle letter in here, both are identical. Okay, but why we can actually, why we know which one is H, which one is A, is actually we have the top down. Okay, if you're bottom up, okay, you will make this one the same. How you make this one is a diget or like what, how you pronounce that one. But because of the top down, okay, because you have learned before, you have experienced before, okay, So that's why you know what, this is actually what? This is actually the H, and this is actually the A. Okay, now, well, when you design a new thing to a product, to a person, when we would like to talk about the attention, okay, about attention and perception, I would like to say, which one is better, top down or bottom up? Top down or bottom up is good? Everyone, which one is good, top down or bottom up? If you would like to propose a new product, you can type. Everyone, you can just type if you feel shy to answer my question. Which one? Bottom up, Sir Eric, bottom up. Okay, Wells, top down or bottom up? If you would like to design a new product. Which one? Okay, Anna, top down. What about Mamfiki? Which one?
Top down.
Why? Why?
Because it's something that had already been discussed by the top executives.
Okay. 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 Oh, sorry. I clicked the wrong thing, but it's okay. Okay. So the answer is top down. Correct. Mamfiki is correct. Because you know what? When you would like to introduce something to users, don't use bottom up. Why? Why not bottom up? Because if you use bottom up, you know what? They have to learn from zero. You have to learn from zero again, and it will take time again. Then they will have a mental workload. Oh, I would like to talk about that one later. Mental workload and learning curve after this one, okay? Because it's always connected. Mental workload, learning curve, attention, they're always connected, okay? When you make it everything bottom up, what will happen? What will happen if you are actually learning Chinese the first time? What happened? You will think what? Oh, I got headache. Oh, I got whatever. There's so many strokes and so on. Okay, but after several years, it will be what? It will be top down. Okay, the same thing. All of you, when you design a product, just like or like yesterday. Okay, yesterday I paid the how is it that using my card. Okay, and they have a new machine. Okay, and the new machine they have different order. They have new machine. Let's just imagine this is a machine. Okay, the machine, the number, it should be the horizontal, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then 0. When you would like to type the I would say that your pin code, you just get used to it. Okay, but they change it. They're changing like this one, vertical. 1 2 3 4 5 6. I was like, this is so weird. When I would like to enter that, I felt so weird. I was so afraid that the code actually wrong. Because at the beginning I did not realize that it's actually different. So I just, my brain's kind of, oh yeah, I pay, blah 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 and so on. But why it's wrong? I was like, I think I type it correctly, but when I read, the display, I was shocked, that they make it like vertical 1 2. So I say like, oh, I think it's good. You know what? If I talk about attention for tomorrow for my class, because I think that's the like ergo is always sense, always everyday's life, everything about human, that when I wanted to answer that one, I was kind of like, wow, who is the designer of this one? This is actually pretty bad. Imagine this, that's the pin code, and then you make the order like that. So for me, I was kind of like, okay, this is my goal. I put it like, okay, number this, where is this number? Oh, now in here. Because they have a different order. That's why, that's a bottom up. I have to learn from zero. Okay, so it's difficult. It's bad. Okay, unless now I have another one. Unless, okay, you would like to test a new product, preliminary product in your company. You would like to find a novice user and then advanced or like expert users. Okay, you would like to compare the behavior between those two. That's very common, that study. For example, driver with non-driver, what will happen? Driver with non-driver. Oh, that's very interesting. There's so many things that I I mean, I did not realize that those expert ergo professors can think in that advance, and then prove it with so many, with the learning curve or like with the subjective mental work. And I realized that, oh yeah, it really makes sense, like looking at the result of the advanced ergo study. For example, okay, okay, later on, okay, so I haven't talked about the mental workload, right? After talking about mental workload, then actually I can talk about that study. Okay, so if you would like to design something, use top down, never use bottom up. If you would just use the common sense, as simple as what? Top down, common sense. That's top down. Okay, if it's not common, then that's bottom up. It does not make sense, then it's bottom up. The same with I type, like the input, like yesterday when I paid, I don't know why they make it like that, like same with some mini Bluetooth keyboard for smart TV with different sequence. Yeah, right. The sequence, like it's so funny. It does not for me like playing that one. Actually, I wanted to take picture of that one, but I was like say the operator said, oh, you cannot take picture. Yeah, I know, but I would like to find I just want to what brand that one. They say, oh sir, this is you. Yes, that's you. That's why, because that one is you. And I told it's like I told her, it's like I'm a professor in human factors, and that's very interesting. That product. I feel like yeah, and interesting, but it does not make sense. Okay, so use top down, never use bottom up. Okay. Unless for bottom up, unless you would like to make what the YouTube video, usually people do what YouTube video for something, they would like to see what will happen, with advanced and office, usually that's fine, but in general, just make it top down. Okay, now we are going to talk about learning curve. Okay, learning curve. Okay, so this one, what is the learning curve? Okay, so it looks like this one. People become better and better when they perform the same tasks, the repeated tasks. For example, they perform better. For example, the accuracy is higher, but the most of the time, actually faster. We can make it faster. Now, everyone, all of you are most of you are drivers, right? Imagine the first time when you learn how to park your car. Did you hit something? Is there someone who hit something when you park the car? No, no one. When you actually park the car, but remember when you park your car at the beginning, it took so long, right, for you, right, at the beginning. But if you repeat that again for the second time, it will be what? Much faster. The third time, it will be what? It will be much faster, and so on. So later on, if you really do a time study for you to finish a certain task, later on, you can make a graph like this one. It will be like exponential graph. Okay, of course, it cannot be zero, right? I mean, how come a completion time like zero? Cannot be. Like at least milliseconds, seconds, or hours, but hours usually quite rare for me. Minutes usually. Okay, that's the usually like that one. So why this one is important? If you have new employees, this is very important. You know what? If you lose old employees, you have to train them again. You have to train from the beginning. That's why, it will take extra time for them, and you cannot blame the new employee because they are new for, they're still learning for a certain task. Okay, for example, like I cannot blame, for example, my PhD students, for example, like at the beginning they say like, oh sir, it takes so long for me to finish this paper and so on. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I know, I know about learning curve. At the beginning, it's going to be like 3 months, 2 months to finish one paper and so on. Usually, but after that, they're so fast. They become faster and faster. Okay, and then they become like, oh, I know the feeling how to write a paper. The same thing with that one. Okay, so that's why nowadays, when I have a new, I would say like a new advices and so on, I feel like, wow, another new people. So I have to invest a lot of time to really train them from the beginning and so on. And then when he or she will graduate, and then like I have to train the new one. So that's actually like I feel, oh, that's a very challenging, for this learning curve. You know what? But that's why, for me, the happiest is actually dealing with the PhD students because they stay for long, 3 years at least. But one student can graduate 1 year PhD, Actually, he could graduate within 6 months only from zero. Okay, but he because of the regulation and so on, so he needs to stay 2 more terms. So 1 year got a doctoral of philosophy in industrial engineering. Very brilliant. Okay, okay. So now, okay, look at this one. The next, what is learning curve? Time to produce a unit decrease as more units are produced. Or like this one, time savings per unit decrease over time. Okay, learning curve typically follow a negative exponential distribution. Yes, typically, usually, like it will be very nice learning curve like this one. So, especially, you know, I give this one to doctors, to dentists and doctors. I told them like this one. One day, okay, the new clerk will be as good as you know, because of what? Because of the learning curve. They keep doing that one, the same thing again, again, and again. Okay, just like the doctors and the nurse. You know what? When the doctors, you know, when the nurse, why the nurse is actually much better when for ejecting and so on than the doctors. Okay, because of the learning curve. Okay, because of the learning curve usually. Okay, they do it again, 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 and again. Okay, so that's why I told them like, hey, one day, you know what? There are some studies actually prove, you know what, second year, our second year or third year of a dentist, you know, can be the same as the someone who has the 20 years of experience because of what? Learning curve. After a certain, but of course, after several trials, you know, for one task, okay, for one task, there are so many tasks, right? I mean, you cannot compare like apple with orange, you know, this is for a certain task, like what? Parking, you know, parking is one task, right? For example, another one, what? Like accelerating in a highway. That's another task. You cannot make it like comparing those two, you know, and you go, oh, this is the learning curve. No, it does not make sense. You know, those are two different tasks. Okay, for a certain task, you know, they prove it that yeah, even 2 years. I mean, the second year or third year of you know, young dentists, they can be at the same level with the 20 years for a certain task. For a certain task. Okay, so this is actually like you can see it will be like you know, from the first trial, second trial, fourth trial, and okay, and so on. But this is actually like the time it will be like this one. But learning curve sometimes you know what, the other one for the learning curve, I've seen something like the positive exponential instead of negative. For example, you know what, let me give you example. For example, oh yeah, 2 days ago I did free diving. Okay, so the beginning of the free diving, how many meters perhaps you can go with one single breath? Perhaps only what, 6 meters perhaps, you know, at the beginning, you know, and then gradually it would be like the second trial, the third trial, the fourth, and the fifth, you know, until so on. It would be until how many, 20 somethings, you know. My limit just 20 plus something, you know. 20 plus for is already deep. What do you want to see, you know, like on the sea, you know. Usually it's just, yeah, the fish is that one. Oh, I saw treasure shark in during scuba, 6 meters treasure sharks in a 34 meters, but it was scuba, not free diving. Okay, so later on you can, if you try to see somebody's performance for a certain task, you know, but in terms of the performance or the accuracy, okay, you can make it like positive exponential. But in general, you know, we actually make it that the time as the dependent variable. Okay, the time is the dependent variable, and usually it will be like this one. It will be like you know, negative exponential. Okay, so in here it's actually very important for what, for human, if you work in a human resource, you know what, don't easily cut people, because investing on people, you know what, it's not just investing psychologically, you know, it's actually investing about the skills that somebody's acquire. When somebody's acquired in a certain in a firm, you know, especially when this person is actually, the performance is actually quite good. Okay, so that's the thing, you have to keep those people, you know. If you keep changing the new one, you know, the learning curve will be you know, will be still here, and you cannot blame for someone who has the, you know what, for example, why you're slow and so on. That's the beginning, you know, like and so on, you know. Oh, I had experience like that one. And you know me, right? I'm very yeah, yes, Sir John.
I have a question for that. Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any like correlation between like learning curve and complacency.
How you measure
Because
complacency? How are you gonna measure complacency?
complacency, like
How are you gonna measure that? How will you measure that?
yeah, I think you're right because normally what happens is that whenever, like, say for example for machine operators,
Okay.
normally what happens when they reach like around, I mean, set like for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in their task repetitively, then they become sort of like complacent, that they start also to uh, I mean to create like human errors.
Really? But
Yeah,
is it common? I think that one is actually more because of musculoskeletal disorder, or like it's actually more because of the stress, or maybe because of other things, But I think in general, in the performance, I think it should what? Well, that's very interesting. If you after certain years that people the learning curve will be high again, then there must be something.
it's actually it's happening in all, like, okay, they are overconfident that okay, what they did is
That's
already
another.
correct.
That's another. Yeah, that's another. I will talk about offer coffee the next 2 weeks. That's another thing, sir. Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Doc.
another thing. Yeah, but in
Thank you.
general, Sir John, it will be like learning curve, diba? In your engineers,
Yeah,
it will be like that, right? At the beginning, they're slow. At the beginning, they still need to learn, but after second trial, third, fourth, fifth, they are the same with the boss, even, or even they're even better, perhaps, than the boss.
yeah, correct po.
Yeah,
Thank
right,
you po.
correct, right. Yeah, so that's why, okay, learning curve, okay, it's very important for that one. And usually for me, when somebody has no idea about the learning curve, and just blame on the new person. I had that experience, before, like, and I'm very direct, I would say, like, when I say something is I would say it does not make sense, and I explain, and hey, you know what, I'm new, I don't know about that, and you know about learning curve, right? Actually, I talk with someone who knows about learning curve. So I talk like that one. Hey, you cannot blame me like that one. I don't know, the process, but the next time I can make it faster, or perhaps faster than you. I can say like that. I can say then after that one is actually, yeah, getting better and better and so on. So I would like to say, like, don't blame someone who make error, or like it's the beginning, it's common, that's why when you talk about accident analysis, even in a company, usually like the probationary employees, they are actually the one who have accident, because they are new. Okay. Okay, let's talk about situational awareness. Okay. From the term, it's actually very clear, right? Situation awareness. Okay, the situation and you aware. So it will be like this one. Okay, this is like the definition from the book. I have to copy it. I have to copy it and show this is the standard formal term. But for me, I don't like something like this one. I like something like this. Wait, nah, this one. I like something like this. Make it more make sense. Okay, look at that one. You have the perception of elements in current situation. You have the perception. Okay, you have the perception. Okay, so there is a room behind me, there's a seat next to me, and so on, and so on. And you comprehend of current situation. But usually the comprehend of current situation, for the level 2, it's quick. It's quick, and yeah, it's just quick, the when you comprehend the current situation. But the final one is actually the most important one, I think. Project of future status. Okay, so for example, when you see something like accident, with almost accident, did I have something like that these days? Not really, because I have situational awareness, so I kind of aware what will happen. Okay, because I focus on tension, and actually it makes me aware. Okay, so my situational awareness kind of like fine. Okay, so because you keep projecting the future, what will happen. Okay, okay, you have the perception, you make the comprehension what will happen, and you kind of project what will happen. So that's actually what we call the situational awareness. Okay, so perhaps, for the situational awareness, Uh, what situational awareness? Not really. I not really. Usually, I don't think that much. We don't usually think this one. This one. But I would like to say that we actually unconsciously, do the situational awareness. Yeah. Is there someone who has an interesting, I would say, experience? When let's say something you have like a near miss event, for example, like you project like it will be cracked on the surface, it will fall down, and you kind of like matrix like that one. Is there someone who has that experience? No one? Or you actually like aware of something will happen and it's really happened, Is there?
Usually, sir, at the plant,
And the plant, what
in
happened?
manufacturing plant or warehouses, when we used to have like new, what do you call this? New employees, contractual employees who are handling the palletizing of the products, and some are, try to do the shortcut and try to be more confident and going above the maximum level of the pallet.
Okay,
And
maximum
even
of the palette. Okay.
so you would know that it's already what they call this, unstable, and you could already project that something bad would happen. Some of the bottles or some of the cartons would fall, and
then
most of
it
the
happened.
time it happens, but most of the time they won't believe you because we've done this before. It could have, and we could pull it through with beyond the maximum level, which is a safety concern, of course. But yeah, sometimes being too cocky uh, has its real disadvantages, and sometimes
Okay.
they like, how
Okay.
would you know that it would fall?
Yeah.
Right? Because,
Yeah.
because you're aware of what could happen.
Yes. Yes. You're aware what will happen. Yeah. Okay. There is let me just share you 2 weeks later. A study actually offer confidence with the situational awareness. Actually, very interesting study. Okay. So wow, glad that no one died, right? It's just a fall pallet and no one died, right?
Accidentally,
No one?
unfortunately, someone did, because when it, but it's not
My gosh.
physically because of the fallen pallet, but mostly because the one of the line leaders had a high blood pressure because of it and had a heart attack.
I see. But it's because of other things, right?
Yeah. More of like an effect.
Okay. Okay, so let me continue to the next one. Okay, but don't worry, everyone. I will upload this one. Okay, but this is so technical. I would like to say, this one you can just read. You know what? But anyway, again, in this class for master's degree, I would like to make it into make sense. Okay. Okay, see, there is something like this one. See, there are some people actually go beyond like situational awareness with the cause of injury, unsafe acts, and unsafe conditions. Those actually belongs to unsafe acts. Okay, the one that you explained. Okay, but later on, you know what? I will talk further about this one. Oh, bungee jumping. Is there someone who would try this?
Me.
How's that?
Fun. I tried the one that is controlled in Macau Tower.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't.
It's the
Yes.
highest in the world. It's the highest in the world. Okay then.
Yeah,
Same
it was
then.
fun.
Yeah, same then. Situation. Yeah, okay, for that one. It was so much fun. Yeah. It's the highest in the world. But for me, I think that one is not the most beautiful one. The bungee jump that I did.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the most beautiful one.
It's
If
not
you
the
wanna
best.
experience it, I think it's a starter. But if you want to have more adventure, try jumping off on a bridge on a lake, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Bridge is more beautiful. Then especially bridge and your hat is actually in the water. A little bit like splashing in the water. It hurts actually. A little bit. Okay? It hurts actually like that time. And your head's kind of like 90 degree like this one. But it's so much fun actually. Okay. You can actually see the it's okay. I'll talk about that next week. Next week is about accident analysis. Okay, that in amusement park, I would like to tell you that some people died in the amusement park. Okay, but I think if you have a strong situational awareness, I think you can prevent that one. It's actually quite obvious. Okay, it's actually about roller coaster, and then the seat belt, and it's not the double belt, the safety belt. It's actually not, usually you will hear a sound click or a sound something or a sound like there is some kind of sound that make it actually you kind of, oh, this is actually safe. That time there was a small space, I think it happened in Orlando, or like I forget, in US. Definitely it happened in US. And then the safety engineers just say like, oh, it's okay, it's usually like that one. And you know what happened? Yeah, like with a roller coaster like that one. Of course she died, right? I mean, like, she just fly, fly, of course died. I can share you the YouTube video, okay, of that one. If you have that one, if you say, when it comes to the safety and you have a strong situational awareness, you have to say no. Do you know, like, oh yeah, oh, good things. 3 days ago when I did scuba diving, do you know, like the regulator, okay, there was small bubble of the regulator. When I just enter the water, I think just like 2 meters. The regulator is just, there's a small bubble, keep coming, and then I realized that there's something like a hole or something, and then I told the dive masters, I told the dive masters, like I need help, this I need help, and then and then we went on the service, and I told the dive master, it's like, I want to change the regulator. But can you imagine, changing the regulator when the other 3, usually like 4, right, diving, when the other 3 is already ready, but your regulator is actually just a small bubble and so on. But I told them, it's like, and the dive master said like, oh, it's okay, sir, you're you're advanced diver, you can actually stay. I say no. I would like to get out, go back to the boat. I would like to change the regulator. So you know what happened? The rest, the other 2, waiting, in the water, on the surface, waiting for me. I say, I don't care, I don't want nothing, something happen with me, this is an extreme sport. So I changed the regulator of the boat, like give me 5 minutes, because I changed to the new one, and then I tried from the beginning again, and everything is fine. And actually I it's fine. But if the bubble keep coming on that one, there was a time I heard, but it's not me. I just only heard about this story. The person actually quite great diver actually, but suddenly he realized, what happened? What happened with my oxygen? Why it disappears so fast? And then he realized that those bubbles actually, and those bubbles, when you keep losing the air, you will sink. You will sink, because that's what makes you steady. That's why you will somehow, you feel like, oh, what happened? Why keep sinking and so on, because that's actually what makes you, in your BCD, it's actually that the you use that the same oxygen, the same air, with your that you breathe. Okay, so if you lose that one, if you keep losing that one, you don't notice actually, like, it's already there, and there's a hole. So yeah, you will sink, and so on. So that time actually I aware with that one, I said no, I want to change the new regulator. Okay, this is the simple one: look, think, and act. Okay, so basically this is when you're aware of something, it actually can prevent you to accident. Okay. Okay, so that's why, see, there are so many things about situational awareness and also incident prevention. Okay, now I would like to talk about workload. This is the most important, everyone, so please stay in here. Oh, good, there are 15 participants in here. Okay, so that's why I put it a little bit late, because this is the most important for today's meeting. This is the workload. When we talk about the workload, okay, but now I would like to talk, since I would like to talk about about cognitive, it will be about mental workload. Okay, mental workload. See in here, it's an attribute of person-task loop and the effects of workload on human performance. Now, okay, when you write one paper, or if you answer multiple choice, which one has higher mental workload? Making one conference paper, or or answering multiple choice? Which one, everyone?
Paper.
Yeah. Of course, usually like most of you will think like the making one paper is actually like will have a higher mental workload. But for me, I'm the opposite. For me, multiple choice is actually more difficult, rather than making one paper or essay, because like multiple choice, the answer is actually obvious and so on. Okay. So let me talk about this one. Okay, this is very important. Actually, one way to do the mental workload is actually NASA. We call it NASA TLX. Okay, NASA TLX is like AHP. Okay, when you learn about AHP in the decision analysis, or I don't know what class you learn AHP. Is there someone who know AHP? If your BS is IE, yes, you know AHP. But in this MS program, have you learned about AHP? AHP?
Yes,
No
sir.
one? Yeah, you know
Yes,
what
sir.
AHP? Yeah. The same thing with this one. NASA TLX is like exactly like AHP, but this is for cognitive ergonomics. Okay, but people from psychology actually also do this one. But I think NASA TLX is usually common for industrial engineers, especially among ergos. Okay, so we would like to see how big your mental workload for a certain task. Okay, so now usually people, would like to combine the NASA TLX with the learning curve. Imagine, okay, the first time your engineers work, you for a certain task, you measure the NASA TLX, and now after working for 1 year, you measure the NASA TLX for a certain task. What will happen? It will drop. Okay, it will drop. Your NASA TLX, the value will drop. Another one, very interesting one. You know what? One study I read. This study is actually conducted in the military. Okay, in the military, you have to drive a certain trucks, or for logistics. Okay, and then I read one study actually performed 5 tasks. Okay, 5 tasks and split into two different. I was like two different soldiers. One is actually experienced soldiers, and one is actually the new recruits. Okay, so they actually measure the learning curve. Of course, the new recruits, they have a strongest drop. Okay, for the learning curve compared to the I would say that compared to the advanced. The advanced is already flat, right? When you measure someone is that advanced, it's already flat. Of course, it will be like so obvious. It's just flat, almost like straight, almost like, but it's not that straight, but it's at least just almost like flat. But for the new one, it'll be like curve. It will be a very strong negative exponential curve. Then one interesting thing, this is actually the genius part of this professor. Okay, the professor actually measured the mental workload at the first trial and the last trial. Okay, first trial and the last trial. Okay, the first trial, which one is higher? Which one is higher? The first trial. Do you think the amateur one or the expert one? Of course, the amateur one, right? Because they don't know, they have a higher workload. They feel so stressed at the beginning. Oh, this is so difficult. But after those so many, you know what? Usually for novice user or novice driver, okay, they drop the mental workload even lower than the expert. Because of what? The expert get used to it. So when you measure the mental workload before and after, it will be flat. It will be the same. It will be like the same like this one. But if you compare with the with the novice, it will be like this one. It will be like drop. They feel like, oh, this is at the beginning. They feel like they somehow they feel it's easy. The feeling, the feeling before and after for expert and non-expert is actually like quite different. The same thing like this one. Okay, all of you can cook, right? If you cook spaghetti, at the house, you cook spaghetti, oh, it's so delicious and so on. If you go to a restaurant, eat spaghetti, what do you think? Do you think that this is amazing food? Not really, right? You think that this is this is delicious, but you don't think that this is actually like a super special because it's just slightly higher or slightly, than what you cook in the house, right? But imagine, you know what? If you don't know how to cook spaghetti and you cook spaghetti only once and it's a failure. I cannot imagine if someone cooks spaghetti and fail. What will happen? It's just so easy, for spaghetti. Okay, cook spaghetti and then fail, and then you go to a nice Italian restaurant, and then you eat the spaghetti and you feel wow, you feel so high. But this one is actually the mental workload, so it will be drop. Okay. Now, how to measure mental workload? This is actually the one famous method. I think most of the ergo people will use NASA TLX. Okay, so NASA TLX, it consists of 6 different dimensions, and those are mental demand, physical demand, temporal demand, effort, performance, and frustration. Okay, so this is actually the scale actually from 0 to 100. Okay, here 0 to 100. Okay, the scale of this one. And later on, you give the weighting. You cannot just answer like, oh, mental demand high, physical demand high, temporal demand high, effort high, performance high, frustration high. Then how will you measure? Like this one, what will happen? Which one? Some tasks they are physical demanding. Okay. Some tasks actually mental demanding. For example, but some tasks are temporal demanding. What? For example, temporal demanding. Can you give me one example? Temporal demanding, very obvious. Online food delivery. You know what? If you're late, what will happen? Like the temporal demand is actually quite for me, I don't know, depends on the task. For me, writing papers, no performance. For me, still the perform. I still this one, but temporal demand for me is actually high for conference. Usually temporal demand depends. Okay, if it's just a journal, it's more performance. But if it's conference, I think more about temporal demand. So from those, if you have 6, it will be you have to use the pairwise comparison, and you have to choose which one among those 2. If you have 6, then they will be 15 pairs, of those 6 dimensions. And those, for example, physical demands or mental demand. Let's say for a certain task, for one task, okay? Let's say, oh, I think mental demand. I choose more mental demand. Temporal demand or mental demand? Temporal demand. Overall performance or mental demand? Mental demand, and so on. Okay. So from those 15, it will be from those 6, the pairwise comparison, it will be 15 pairs. Okay, you have to answer. And after that, they will show you the weighting. How many times that dimension is selected? Okay, and as here you can see here, like mental demand selected 3 times, physical demand 0, temporal demand 5, and so on, blah blah, so on. And from this weighting, okay, you are not just about that. Then it's time for you to answer, low, high, and so on. Okay. Now after that they calculate the rating. This is the rating times the weighting. It will be exactly like AHP. You've learned AHP before. This is like exactly like AHP, okay? And you got this one. This is the value, the total. And then you divide it by 15 pairs, right? You have divided by 15 pairs, and the mental workload is actually 32. So this is the way of doing mental workload. But if you would, for those who would like to do mental workload, you have to do this one for 1 participant. Okay? 1 person, actually quite funny. For mental workload, you know what? They make it total. They make it total. Total like how many times it being like. Let's say you collect 100 participants, and you actually total this one. Total this one and total this one. You cannot do that because of what? For me, do a certain task, we can have the different weight. Me with let's say Sir John. When we do what? When we do the parking, okay. For me, perhaps the frustration is the highest, for the parking, but for Sir John, perhaps what? Mental demand, perhaps the highest one, and so on. For the same task, we have a different weighting. Okay, then you cannot make like everyone like, oh yeah, we have the same weight for everyone. No, you cannot do that. In ergo, it's always fit the individual to the task. Individual. See, individual, the human to the task. So we talk about the, when we talk about the performance on one individual to the task. Okay, so if you would like to perform this one, you have to. That's why to collect for for each single individual, and that's why for those who would like to do the NASA TLX, you usually don't need to collect so many data. Usually 20 participants, 30 participants, that's more than enough, for doing the mental workload, how the effect of certain tasks to the mental workload, is, later on you can do simple one-way ANOVA, a simple, and you do certain analysis, so on. Or you would like to compare one person, you collect only 10 participants, but they perform 2 different tasks, and you would like to tell people which one has the mental workload. Is it significantly different or not? Okay. That's why, you know what, I really, really would like to measure the mental workload to compare, you know what, between the jeepney driver and the pilot. You know, that's why I always feel interested with when I enter the jeepney, you know, the so many things, you know, you can talk about physical ergo, the vibrate, you know, the lighting, the so on, you know, the cognitive ergo with the mental workload, or the macro ergo with the government related support, or the, you know, the wealthiness of the jeepney, you know, that I always think about those three. Ergo is always about those three, right? But when I go to enter the jeepney, one interesting, another one, because it's so difficult, you know, you count the, you know, you count the how many passengers you have to drive, you know, at the same time you have to, you know, give the sukli to the, you know, passengers, you know. Ma'am Vicky, do you want to try to be a jeepney driver for 10 minutes? 10 minutes.
Actually,
you-
I don't like.
Do you want to
Actually,
try? It's
yeah,
vibrating, and then you know what? You have to count who is that. You have to remember with this person from where. You have to give the exchange. How can you do
yeah,
that?
that's a hard job, because the first thing is they do the mental math to give the supply, right?
Yeah,
And then they
that's
also monitor if you already paid or not.
yeah,
Sometimes they tell you, are you paid? Because
yeah,
some people don't
yeah,
really pay at all.
and it's yeah. That's why some people even don't pay. You know, it's just 10 pesos. Come on, everyone, it's just 10 pesos. You know, like, and after that, like, that's why when I see that one, wow, this job is so crazy. So I feel, yeah, I feel sad for the, it's crazy job, you know, for jeepney. Okay, so there, compared to the pilot, imagine your pilot when you already turned on the autopilot. You know, I I no, during last flight in here, I couldn't meet up with the pilot, you know, but before the COVID, okay, at that time, when you have, when you take the business class, you know, you can ask, you know, to really see, you know, how the pilot works. Okay, and that time, you know what, I would like to meet up with the pilot. I would like to see how they work. Do you know what do you know how they work? You know what, when I enter, you know, their workplace environment, okay, they just gossiping gossiping like gossiping like a Korean drama or what, you know, that time, you know, the two, the one senior, and then one is actually quite young, you know what, but the young one is actually the pilot, the senior one becomes the co-pilot, okay, and they actually talk like so many things. I was like, oh sir, you're actually the one who would like to see us, right? Yeah, welcome. So this is, you know, they just chatting, they just drinking coffee, and then like have fun, you know, because I said, oh, you uh, uh wow, you don't feel afraid or what? Oh, we keep monitoring. They say, oh, we keep monitoring, but everything is autopilot there when the autopilot is there. So basically we are basically they can say, oh, we can sleep. Basically, and they're like, oh my god, there's like, you know, when I see that one, and then at the same time I'm thinking about your jeepney, I was like, wow, that's totally two different worlds. You know, I'm not talking about the physical, I'm talking about cognitive. Okay, imagine, you know, the cognitive is so different. And one thing, okay, for those in industry, usually you complain, usually people complain about this one. Okay, let me tell you something. Do when always someone say like, oh, I do 10 jobs today, you only do one. Hey, remember those one, perhaps the mental workload is much higher than those 10. Okay, because someone's always feel like it's not fair. Okay, that's why when I say that one, like sometimes when I deal with the colleagues, you know, when I say like, oh, mom, sir, try to write one paper, you know, like try to write one paper. Which one is better? You write 3 conference paper or one SCI journal, you know, and then you will know, you know, like that's yeah, that's different. You know what? Yeah, one, actually the mental workload so high. Okay, so that's why, you know, when someone say like, oh, it's not fair, you know, we can, if you say it's not fair, we can compare with the NASA TLX. Let's compare the mental workload, you know, but it cannot be one subjective, one person, right? It should be objective, you know what, and you can compare, you know, like, hey, you know, I do one, but even I do one, perhaps it's more crazy than your 10. Okay. Hey, okay. Okay, so for example, one surgeon only has, let's say, okay, one surgeon Okay, opening the neurosurgeon, let's say neurosurgery or plastic surgery. Okay, let's say plastic surgery. Okay, usually people, well, plastic surgery doctor, they are so busy. Okay, and perhaps one day they only have one surgery. But do you think one surgery with a general practitioner, when they meet up with 50, the 51, the mental workload is higher than only one big surgery? Not really, right? You can compare. You know what? Doing those one task, with 50, with dealing with 50 people, which one is more difficult? You can compare with the NASA TLX, okay, to make it like someone fair. Because, perhaps, no matter what kind of job, either in industry or even in academic, sometimes you always deal with hey, you only do that one, you only do that one. But sometimes, I reply, oh, you want to try to do that? You want to try to do that? Try one. I say like that one. Do you have that kind of experience, everyone? Like you think like it's not fair to do that one. You have to do 10. But your 10 is actually just like what? Just like the general practitioner. The general, there's the easy disease. Not like the big surgery. And do you have like that one in your workplace environment? Everyone, do you have that experience when somehow you
Yeah, sometimes. Yes, sorry.
yeah, somehow you feel like offended because you feel like do one like art, and so that's more difficult than just do photocopy. Like photocopy things is like it's just repetition. But when you have like, oh, to focus on doing something like one art and so on, that's so difficult. Do you have that kind of experience?
Yeah, just to share, when I used to handle a chemical laboratory for a pharma company, usually the arguments between the newer analyst versus the experienced analyst are common because of that. Because usually the experienced ones handle the complex testing, which is usually like 1 in every 3 hours, versus the basic test that runs 10 every hour. And sometimes the younger ones would complain she gets paid more but she only does one testing. It's easy because it's because of the number, but it's actually more complex to do so.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, that's why we can now ergo you can explain. Oh, mom, do you want to measure the mental workload? You can measure.
Let's compare.
Yeah, let's compare. If someone compare, oh, we can compare. And actually we see. Okay, so everyone, let me give you one experience how to do NASA TLX. But if you would like to compute that manually, it will be like this one. Okay, so the computation will be like this one. This is actually from 0 to 100. Okay, 0 to 100. Okay, so let me stop the recording in here and we go to the practice with the software.